And we're back.
Let's get a popper.
Not again. Hi guys, welcome to Close on Sundays. We're back with episode 4.
Episode 4. Woo!
I'm your co-host, Austin Lee. I'm a pastor serving at KPCQ, and here's my other co-host.
Hi, I am Amy. Oh God, it's been a minute. I am a member at QPAM, Queens.
Dog.
We can
That's her dog. That's her dog.
Yes, that's.
No, we're not restarting. This is going to be organic. We're going with it.
Tofu, shut up.
Okay.
And that is your husband who's about to open the door.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Which is fine because
Sam's about to come in. Come in the door. So we are really excited to be recording again. We've had a bit of a hiatus. It's been a busy summer.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
What's up?
The hubby's here.
Hold on. Camera. There he is. He's right there. Hey, don't run.
Sam, you have to say hi. The camera's pointing at you.
How's work?
Look at that ink stain.
Ink stain.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the mic's
Is it
picking
even?
up.
We're keeping this organic. We're not cutting.
Hi guys, my name's Sam. I'm Amy's husband, and welcome back to Closed on Sundays.
Woo!
Wow, that was better than
great.
both of us.
I don't know. That was a bit of a sexy voice, man. I don't know.
His ink stain looks like a fly. I thought there was a
But
fly
anyways,
on him.
welcome back to Close on Sundays. And we will be talking about faith in the workplace today. So I know that's a pretty relevant topic to a lot of us working professionals. But before that, it's been a minute since we caught up. So we're gonna, talk about what's been going in our lives. Austin, you want to start? I know you have some exciting updates.
Yes. The big reason for the hiatus was actually my fault.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I got engaged.
Woo!
I proposed to my longtime girlfriend of 8 years.
Can't believe she said yes.
Me too. That's
crazy.
You fool.
Good for you, bro.
Well, fun fact, when we first started dating 8 years ago, she says this all the time. She says, when I asked her out to be my girlfriend, it wasn't because she was so deeply in love with me, found me attractive. She was like, why not? But 8 years later, here we are.
Wow, that's a long time coming.
It, like Beyonce said.
Was it the same reaction?
No, she was bawling.
Oh, okay.
She was bawling. So it was really a beautiful
Can't wait to see
time.
the pictures.
Oh yeah, well maybe we'll have Levy show them. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
maybe
see.
you'll do a slideshow next to us.
who
Just,
knows?
photo.
But yeah,
I can,
I got
I'll try.
engaged. So it took a lot of planning. It was a complete surprise. She actually thought I was proposing in November. We did plan for this year. She thought it would be in November, but I was like, nope, I'm doing it in September. So I spent all of August kind of prepping and planning and using my credit card. Got everything in order, and yeah, she said yes. So now I'm a fiance to someone.
Fiance.
Don't say.
So,
You're gonna join the club.
Fancy.
Yeah. So I'm going one step closer to marriage. So yeah, I'm excited.
Welcome to the beginning of the end.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Hopefully,
Love marriage.
Hopefully she doesn't take it off in the next year or so as we plan. So yeah, we'll see. But it'll be good. So that's why I've been busy. I kind of pushed off the podcast because of that. But we're back. We're back, baby.
We're back.
We're back, baby. Yeah. How you guys doing?
Levy, I feel like your life has been more eventful than mine.
Well, I mean, a couple things, couple things here and there.
Yeah.
Couple things.
Apparently something that I didn't even know, Pastor Austin, that you didn't even know, but
Oh yeah,
into that a little bit. Went full time into my business.
Woohoo!
That's been I was gonna say a joyride. It's just been a ride. Joyous.
It's a long time coming though. You've been planning for this for a
Yeah,
while.
it definitely has. And there's a lot of struggles, just the stuff that you don't expect when you start a business, like the actual business stuff, the books, starting an LLC. Do I need an office space? Cutting back on finances. But this is month 3 into 4. So it's been a good ride. And I think just these last 3 months have been very stressful, but through it all, as tough as it was, I came to the realization that I was I'm relying on my own strength. So, just gave up to God. If this is going to be something, He wants me to continue doing, we'll let it ride out and see how it happens. But, I can't get into too much detail, but good news for today, literally today, which is why I couldn't even make it by 4 today. So that was good. And Second piece of news is that I'm having a second child,
Yay!
which is weird because the first child was just like, by all means, like I'm gonna love both my children, but
Right.
the first child's like, yo, we're gonna do a gender reveal, we're gonna go crazy, and this one, me and my wife Benita were just like, yeah, been there, done that,
He or
you know.
she's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, when it pops out, it pops out, you know.
Maybe this one will be a lot more gentle. I heard the second one's like a breeze. So we'll see.
Not well, my
I've
mom's
never
not
been
my
pregnant
sister.
before, so I don't know. But well, that's all that's going on in my life. That's just about it. How about you, Amy?
It's been a pretty hot summer. It's been mostly uneventful, but I have been on leave from work the past couple of weeks. But it's been really great. I've been relaxing at home. I've been cooking.
Special
I've
trip
been
coming
reading. Yes, it is my anniversary, my 4th year wedding anniversary this Thursday. So we are going away for the weekend. So that'll be really fun.
Can I say I'm glad you've been cooking a lot because I've been eating a little bit of it and it's so freaking good.
up. Oh really?
yeah.
Oh
I
my
haven't
gosh.
tried Amy's cooking yet.
Yo, bro,
Yeah.
really?
Not that I'm.
You've known her
I've
for
never-
how long?
I just have. Well, I might have back then, but I don't remember.
Yo, what'd you make? Like the kimbap?
Oh,
Like
so
your-
on Sunday, I made the triangle samgakkimbap,
Oh,
so the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
onigiris with tteokbokki for Sunday snack. And
separately, not
Oh,
together.
you made it for like
Sunday snack.
everyone.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a lot of.
She
food
fed a
then.
whole church, man.
I
She fed
did
the
feed-
whole church.
Oh shoot! Oh, no, I had like some of my teachers from my children's mission. They came up with the samgakkimbap, and I'm like, "Where'd you get that from?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it was just Cupem snack today." So I'm thinking we bought it, but you
Oh no,
made
I
all
made
of
that.
it?
So
Nah, it was good.
it wasn't all me. So Sam, Josiah, and I woke up at 7 in the morning. And we
I'm
were-
sorry. Every
You're
time I hear
little-
Josiah, when it's like you two, like I expected you
Little
two, and
workers.
it's like Josiah. I'm like,
Oh no,
it's the funny. No, I think it's like the cutest thing ever.
he's our third member. So the three of us made the little onigiris in the morning, and then tteokbokki I made through my slow cooker, so I didn't really do anything. I just threw it all in there. So I've been cooking a ton. It's been really healing, actually. I've been really feeling really good.
Wait, was the tteokbokki served in like the paper cup?
Yeah.
Oh, I did have some.
Oh, did
My
you?
sister Audrey gave me some of it. It was good.
Oh,
I
nice.
thought that was like
They're
bought or-
selling it?
It was good.
Yeah, it was
good.
spicy.
It was spicy.
Like,
Yeah,
I
there was
love
a
the heat.
kick.
I was like, "Woo! I'm awake now."
Yeah, no, I'm sad because Prayson didn't get to have any at the end.
They were worth
Yeah, but I did
Sorry,
make
praise
100.
team.
You made 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 50 of the spicy pork and 50 of the mayo tuna.
That's a lot of
But it
ingredients,
disappeared.
then.
No, I just cooked it and I put it in.
I mean, still,
So,
it's
yeah.
a lot of rice. It's a lot of.
You're just being humble. You're being way too humble. It was so good.
I'm waiting for the hair flip. It's,
The what?
you're like a little. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No big deal.
Yeah, just me.
Okay.
You know, it's
Just for the whole
honestly in
church.
Sam's best interest that I don't work because I cook. I
Oh.
feed him.
He is fed.
He is well fed.
I want to eat Amy's food sometime.
Yes.
But anyways. Oh wow.
Yeah. So I've been just like doing things I love, and I've been sleeping so
Ooh.
much sleep,
On average, how much?
like 10 to 11 hours
Ooh,
a night.
oh, that
It's
sounds
been
That sounds amazing. Let me
Like,
tell you.
Wow.
I'm like,
I don't wake up with an alarm.
Oh.
I get
yeah.
happy with 7. Man, 11? Good for you.
I wake up when my eye decides to wake up. Yes. it
That's
is-
a great feeling.
It's been great. So
or your dog waking you up, or is it just your eyes?
no, she sleeps through. She
Oh.
sleeps and I wake her up.
Oh, she grandma. She grandma. Tofu is 12 years old,
Oh yeah.
so she's quite the grandma.
Tofu is 12 years old. She's sleeping again. You know, thankfully, I have my job waiting for me when I'm done with my leave. So it's been this really unique opportunity where a lot of people don't get to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not like stressing about applying to new jobs.
Right. It's not like you're like cut or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you're on leave.
Yeah.
You get
And my
to
team
relax.
has been super supportive about
That's
it as
great.
well.
Cool.
Except that it's unpaid, but you know, that's why we have emergency funds, right?
That's why we got a
things
husband.
like this.
Oh, I forgot to share what I do, I guess, with my job stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you do?
I mean,
What
yeah.
do? I do a thing called pastoring. Yeah, I'm a children's pastor. Yeah, I think I've been I graduated seminary, pastor school about a year ago, and then I received something called a slight promotion from part-time to half-time.
Yay!
It's just more
Part-time
part-time.
to halftime.
Yeah. So I've been working, I would say, from maybe 10 to 15 to now closer to 30 a week. I got that like a year ago, and then, I think I'm looking forward to maybe, hopefully, the opportunity to work full-time for our church. I think that'd be great. I think, I spent a lot of time and a lot of years now at our church, and I think I'm called to stay a bit. I think hopefully through prayer and through a lot of hoping and crossing fingers, I don't know if we believe in that, but that'll happen sometime soon. So hopefully I'll join Levi in the full-time world.
Yeah, so I think that's actually perfect to segue into our first topic, which is times of leaning on faith. So I just feel like it's so easy for us to, when things go well, to forget, that it's not because of us that we get there, and our success is never fully because of our own. I think it's really important to remember why and how we get there, and it's, through God's grace. And I've been feeling that recently, because as amazing as this leave has been for me personally, I think it's kind of given me that space and time to focus on God during this time, and to lean and truly believe that God will provide, even if I don't think we will, or we will be able to do this. I have to fully believe that God will pave the way, even if it seems hard. So I feel like it's been a long time coming for you as well.
Yeah. I feel like there's like a big dichotomy, like for anyone, like when things are going good, and for people of faith, we sometimes forget to, one, thank God, but also to remember that God is the one doing all these things. And then on the flip side is, when you're not doing so well, let's say you're out of the job, or maybe things aren't going well at work, you're like, what the heck, God? And you start maybe even cursing at God, like blaming him. Why are you letting these things happen? And I think when we work, and a lot of us, and probably the listeners too, if we're in our 20s, 30s, we're probably working people. Work is so consuming.
It is.
You work 40 hours minimum a week. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget. And I tell the kids all the time, they don't really understand it yet, but maybe they do. Like whether in school or at work, it's easy to forget as you're in the motion of things. It's your faith in general. You forget. And I think it gets tough on both ends, right? Like you said, when we think things are going well, it's because I'm working hard.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding the rewards and the fruits, because I'm putting in the work. I'm putting in the time. And then the flip side's like, maybe I'm not putting in enough. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Or maybe I just got unlucky. But then we lose that sense and that lens and that perspective of no, God's behind everything.
Yeah.
And as cliche as it may sound, because it's true, there's purpose. There's purpose there. And I think those who are struggling while working, and you ask yourself, what do I do with this faith that I have? One of the first greatest Christian virtues to have is perseverance. And that's a dang hard thing to do, to persevere, to endure, whether it's good or bad, right? So I think a lot of times Christians, I would tell another member or brother or sister, persevere. But that's not me saying suck it up. I think that's super toxic, right?
Yeah.
And we might have heard it from our parents, I don't know, or even friends. But I would never tell someone, hey, suck it up. Grow up. You're being a baby.
You're such a good friend, bro.
Yeah.
I would tell my friends all that all the time.
Only to Levi.
I said it to my son now. He's only a year
Suck it
now.
up, Oliver.
Suck it up.
Good thing we're having this podcast for Levi to learn. But the message isn't suck it up. It's to kind of hold on and remember your faith. Remember Christ. Remember the gospel, that despite suffering and in times of fruitfulness, Christ is with you and God is with you. And our faithful strivings are seen and carried by God. And that's and it sounds like it is a hard truth to remember. Because like I said, work is so consuming. Have you guys have any like stories or like moments where like either you did remember or you're like, oh, you just completely forgot to acknowledge God
I
through
think
work?
while I was working, it was, I just completely got so immersed in planning for the next year, 3 years, 5 years, that I wasn't thankful for what I had currently. And I just took everything into my own hands, and it was affecting my health. It was affecting my stress levels. It was affecting my my marriage, where I was just like, well, why aren't you trying harder? Like, I'm doing this much. And it ultimately, it was just toxic overall. And I think right now it's this, this time of my leave is actually helping me realize to be thankful in the moment, to be grateful for my husband and his efforts, and for me to kind of really believe in the whole, like, it's very cliche where like, God has a plan for you. You have no idea what the big picture is. You just have to, be faithful and trust in God and his plan for you. And I think I'm really like feeling that in my bones right now. And I think just like this feeling of gratitude, it has been so real for me to like, where I say I was thankful in the past, but I think compared to what I'm feeling right now, I don't think I actually meant it then. And to have like my QPIM community, and to have, honestly, this podcast too, to have something like a passion project, or, like even just like the continuous like church events, like things like that, like I have been so grateful for. And
Keeps you in check.
yeah, it really has. And it just like helps me focus on what's really important, and to realize that like, okay, like obviously, we have to do our part and whatever, but it's not up to us ultimately. And we can like try all we want and, whatever, but it just, if it's not meant to be, then it's not going to happen.
I think it goes to show like how important like community, or rather just community, a church, how important church is to really like keep each other accountable.
Right.
And like you said, like I think for me it's like I always try to do things on my own. I think I'm just naturally an independent person, but time and time again, there's like really small instances where I'm like, I can't do this on my own. And God's like, you gotta rely on other people. You need to rely on other people, not even just other people, but you also gotta rely on me. You know, I get that time and time again. You can't do everything by yourself. That's one of the lessons I've learned recently, if anything, operating a business and putting my faith into practice.
Right, you had to take a leap of faith just going to start up your full-time business.
Oh, that was scary.
To
Bro,
do gigs.
I didn't even find out Beni was pregnant until after I took that leap.
Oh.
Like literally maybe like 2 or 3 weeks after.
Oh, wow.
Question for you. Do you think that would have changed your decision if you found out?
I think so. I think so. But all right, I'll just go into it. Like, because I told you like today there was like a something that happened in a great way. So I was operating a full-time business, and I actually had business partners, and I gotta be careful what I'm gonna say, but it's just it's getting to a point where it's not really working. And my old full-time job, they want to continue working with me, but they know they actually came on as a client of ours, but it just wasn't working the amount of time I couldn't give them like it was before. They basically want me back. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't take that. It's all the way out east on Long Island, basically an hour from where we live to get out there 5 days a week. I'm like, I can't, like, it's too much time. I invested too much time in this business. And basically, this is months of struggling and praying and just like, God, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do anymore, type of thing. And then today I had a conversation with my old boss. He's like, we'll provide you, your old salary, but, you could have the hours you want. You can work from home. Work at a time that you...
Oh, wow. This is news to us.
So it's basically like I'm running my own agency now, but he's basically my top client at this point.
Wow.
And just I have to cater to him in a way where it's still full-time, but I don't have to go to that office 5 days a week.
It's like a best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's still in the works. That's why, like, maybe by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be fine. But that's, oh man, I've been stressed for months, like since we started. And even with like you were talking about like how it stresses out the marriage, it does stress out our marriage too.
It does.
Like how are we gonna make ends meet?
Exactly.
We're having a second child. Like, am I really like in the place to like start my own business?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God, I don't know why I did this. This is probably the stupidest thing I did. Kept praying. I was like, I gotta persevere.
Yeah.
And then something like this happened today.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm sure you're like you said, you didn't, is this it? But then, even then, you got this great opportunity to continue to do what you're doing. Yeah, it really is the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Wow, praise
It's
God, I
exciting.
love you. That's
Yeah,
great.
I was. Oh my gosh! As soon as I got to my new office, which that's a cool part. Got a new office. Like it's cool because it's a small room, but I'm just by myself. I'm just like on my knees, like, wow, God, that's so crazy. I can't believe I got this opportunity like that. And there's other opportunities. Like I really want to operate like it's a business. So hopefully in due time, I'll hire an editor for his team. Hire another shooter, and then I move on to the next project or next client type of thing. But
cool.
That's the idea.
Wow, CEO Levy.
Yeah. What do we say before EPD?
Oh, EPD, Executive Producer Levy.
I like it.
Going on his resume.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I love that you spoke about opportunities because I do want to speak about how the first day I wasn't working. It was a Monday. Sam gets a message from Levy. And he's like, hey, bro, I know this guy. He's looking for some people to fill up banks in Long Island. And you're the first guy I thought of. And I think you'd be a great fit. When he got that message, he showed it to me. And I was like, wow, God is real. Like,
God is real.
Oh, well, okay, I knew that.
No,
but
I know what you mean, though.
We know that feeling, though, exactly.
We have those times of doubt, but it's just like, wow.
It's not that you didn't think he was real, but if anything,
it's just
in that
like,
moment, it's so much more.
Is it like,
prove it.
God's just like, yeah, you guys, I'm still here.
Yeah, it was just like
I gotta humor
such
sometimes,
like in-the-face reminder of our living God, and it, obviously it's not like guaranteed, but it was just this opportunity that we never would have thought would come on our laps. And at this point, like like right now, like, I've told a couple people and my friends and that, but then no one knew. Sam was the only person knew. I'm sure Levy, you didn't know. No one knew, and it was.
Can we back? Did you mention like what do you mean? We didn't know what?
Like that I was on leave, that I was jobless, that I was on
Right, Levy didn't know that you were on just the same.
I really didn't know.
No one
just
knew.
had sent it over.
Right,
and even Sam was like, kind of like questioning, like, do I need to look for another job type of thing?
So
Not he's going to, but just a
exactly.
question.
So he was also feeling the pressure of like, okay, like I need to move up in my career. I have to start supporting my family more. And he doesn't say it, but I'm sure me not working, is on the back of his head, and it is stressful for him. And it was, of course it's stressful. It was like a double income family, and and there's this period of no pay, and this opportunity came, and it's been really awesome. Like the process has been, because sometimes some opportunities just come on and it kind of fizzles away, and nothing comes out of it, and I'm sure we've all experienced that. And it's been really discouraging, but for this one, it's been really consistent. Like every week there's been like a new update, and
there's movement.
And
what's cool to make it full circle is that guy that my friend who told me about the job is a coworker from that job, the company that said like, hey, we'll pay your company at your old salary to do our content again.
Yeah, so it's coming
full circle.
Such a blessing, honestly, and so encouraging to even see movement. And I've been helping him with his resume, and he applied for the job officially on the website, and we're just waiting to hear back. But it's definitely like a bump from what he's working right now. And it'll be, really good for us. And yeah, I just want to, include that story in there. I was just really blessed by that.
I mean, I think that's such a testimony to like, of course we're gonna have hard times.
Right.
It could be work, it could be family, it could be personal, it could be internal. But I think we often forget God keeps his people.
Right.
God protects his people. God remembers his people. And it's the long run we're going for, right? It's moment by moment. It's just up and down.
Yeah.
I think, especially at our age, we're in our late 20s. Levy's in his 30s, started a family. Now number 2 on the way. Sorry.
Did you just say early 20s? We're not in our early 20s.
We're late 20s.
We are late 20s.
I said early 30s.
Oh, early
for Levy.
30s.
I'm in the early 30s. All right, I'm the old one. I get it.
Yeah. Hey, you're a dad. It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a CEO here.
Yeah.
CEO / EPD.
I'm trying to work full time. I don't even have a full time job, dude.
When I get into editing.
Yeah, well, I do like. Anyways, right? But I think that's just a testament to like God really watches and carries all the work that we do. I remember I was having this conversation and with Jamie, my fiance, and as much as I'm not full time. That means I have the extra time. In the downtime, what am I doing? Am I just bumming out? Am I just doing whatever I want to do? Sleeping in, or just watching what I want to watch, or playing these games, etc., seeing what I want to see. Or am I using that time to, in a sense, work as I'm getting hopefully closer to being a full-time pastor? And I think for me, it's in a sense the downtime. But then if I change my perspective, I have you guys, I have such a great and loving church and community at church. I have a fiance who, wow, crazy. So we often really forget to count the blessings we have, even in the moments when things are hard. And when we think about faith in the workplace, it's sure, work itself isolated, maybe not going well. But I think once you start counting everything else, especially as Christians, as brothers and sisters in Christ, man, we have so much. We have so much to be you know what? It's okay. I'm going to remember what I got. I'm going to remember my faith in Jesus. I'm going to remember I have Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember my loving husband.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember my beloved second child on the way. I'm going to remember the people around me, my family, etc. It's often hard to kind of maybe psych yourself out of it.
Yeah.
But once we get that perspective, and as we're trying to persevere, those are the things that picks you up.
Yeah.
And then sometimes opportunity comes. Blessings come.
Yeah, so, that goes into our next topic in terms of, after we have these blessings, I feel like the only human natural reaction to that is greed. Whereas we, when it happens and when we need it, we're so happy, but that fades so quickly. And I hate to admit it, but it does. And
like the pursuit of money. And
yeah, exactly.
comfort.
And then we're just okay, what's next? What is next? But I think there's nothing wrong with being ambitious, but there is, where we have that sin of greed. And that means, personally for me at least, it means cutting corners or maybe doing wrong to somebody and stepping over people. And for me, that's wrong. That's just a straight up, that's a line I will not cross as a Christian. And, Levy, I know you have some stories in terms of that.
I mean, yeah. I'm just trying to think of what's a story I could tell, I guess, related to that. I guess what I'm going through is so I'm going through some people I outsource my edits to sometimes. Yeah. And there's one person I kind of use more often than not, but he's kind of slacking in a way. And I'm all right, I either should talk to him, I should fire him, or just keep going the same route it's going to take. And I get more upset. Obviously there's got to be something to be done. And I think the most practical and honestly, to the non-believer, you should talk to the person. Yeah. But the thought of even firing the person, I'm not going to lie, has been there. And I got to remember all right, if I fire this guy, I could potentially ruin his life.
Right.
This is income. This is, he has been good just because a few bad things or a couple miscommunications, whether it's my fault, his fault type of thing.
But in your head, it's livelihoods at stake.
Yeah, I guess my livelihood, or not my livelihood. There you go. There's greed. My livelihood, but at the same time, it goes into my family. It's not just me anymore. If I was a single person just fending for myself, then maybe it's a different story. But it's also I'm fighting for my family, trying to support them. But it's, I guess, in terms of business, it's that's the thing I'm kind of struggling with, balancing all right, I don't want to look at them as a business asset. They're a human being. They're, whether they're a believer, a non-believer, it's just they're human.
Yeah.
And I don't want to treat them like business is binary. I've heard that a lot. Like business is binary, where it's you make money, you don't make money. And I was taught that, like, are they helping you make money or they're not helping you make money? And I don't know. I'm trying to get. I'm glad I was taught that, because at the same time I don't necessarily agree with it, because going back to what I keep saying, they're human. So that's what I'm struggling with. Like, do I ruin this person's kind of livelihood for the sake of me building my business? Or it's a double-edged sword. Like there's got to be some kind of balance in there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm not going to say like, oh, like do it anyway, but rather I think we often fall in this pit of like, what, like in your case as a business owner, how do I make these wisdom calls that is proactive and benefiting to this blessed company that you guys started, while still honoring the person? And I think it's really hard to like figure out, like, am I being greedy, or am I just being like, this is a proper business decision, a wise decision? And it goes back to like work. How do we think about work? How do we think about these things? I read something from an article, and I think I think it really relates to everyone. The quote goes like this: "But Christ-like servant leaders are proactive rather than passive, creative rather than uninventive, and enthusiastic, cheerful givers rather than dispassionate pawns." But I think one part that I really liked was like, you have to be proactive rather than passive. And that might come in place where either we're waiting for the next thing, or working at the workplace, or in your case as a boss, like, what do? You got to be proactive, and maybe you got to be creative instead of just uninventive. When I think about greed and we have to make decisions like that, and are we chasing the bag? Like, we got to do what we got to do for our families and ourselves. And it's really hard. It's really hard to really navigate that, because it can feel like we kind of guilt ourselves and kind of, I don't want to say almost maybe brainwash ourselves. Oh, then I can't do anything because I'm Christian.
Yeah, I feel like that line is really blurred, where it's just like, well, yes, I am trying to support my family. I'm doing it for the glory of God. Like, I'm doing it to, like, tithe more for my church. You can tell yourself these things, but I think it's really hard to find that line where it's like, where it's more than God allowed you to have, and to kind of cross that line and like realize, like, I am being greedy. Like, I'm taking more than I'm allowed.
And there's a certain blindness to it.
There is.
Because you can tell yourself, I'm working these extra hours so I can provide for my family.
Yeah.
I'm working these extra hours to XYZ. When, not that you may be wrong in that.
Yeah.
You may be absolutely correct. But sometimes you may be blinding yourself and excusing yourself to be more greedy, to be maybe be more like sneaky or sly to get that extra cash. And it's dangerous. It's a really slippery slope, and it's a very unclear slope.
Yeah.
And once you're on it, you're on it.
Yeah. I think it's really hard to navigate that as a Christian.
And I think that really shows like how much more we need the word to see clearly. We say that the word opens our eyes, and the word is a lamp to our feet. I think as Christians, we live in a modern society. We have to make money. We have to take care of these things. Some of our viewers probably have mortgages and loans or whatever. I got a bunch of loans on my head from like college and seminary school. But day by day, moment by moment, are we being humble and to seeking the wisdom of God? And I think that's when we'll see slowly, but we'll see very clearly what is the right call when it comes to certain things. Through prayer, through meditation, the more we're in the Word, the clearer we're going to see. And more of our sin will be kind of revealed to you, and especially something like greed. Because greed is so sneaky. Right. Of course, there's a plethora of sins, but I think being greedy and having this pursuit of more assets, more money.
Glutton.
Yeah, it's sneaky. As a pastor, like, what's the stigma? I'm not going to get paid well for the rest of my life. And the joke is my reward's in heaven, right? But then even for me too, I need to think about, as I'm living in New York, I got to have a certain level of wage, of pay to eventually provide.
That's a topic in itself.
It is.
Living in New York is rough in itself.
Even for me, I can find myself being greedy. Let me just cut these corners and maybe pick up this job. Or like, personally, like, oh, I'm half time. I'll go part time, just work. But then I know I'm called to ministry. So then I have to even myself kind of check myself. Though maybe the intention and the pursuit is good, which is like, I want to pay for a wedding, first of all, and pay off loans and all these things and provide for my mom and dad. I can easily, and I already have easily blinded myself to, I just need that bag. I need that money. And it's hard because in a sense, as a pastor, I'm also in a workplace. I'm getting paid by an organization, and the reality is, like I said, the stigma is sometimes it's not enough. But what is enough for you? And I think that's a lot of times we have to think about, what is enough for you? Is there enough, like 7 figures? I'm exaggerating here, but that may be. But is that too much? Probably. And I think oftentimes as Christians, as we work and strive for money, we got to have that sense of clarity from the Word and through God Himself. And I think it's a matter of really just checking. And especially, and I'm excited for this one day when I'm married. Like, hopefully I can find the accountability in my wife.
Yeah.
Hey, am I trying a little bit too hard? Am I thinking a little bit too much about the numbers? And she might be like, yeah, chill out. Like,
yeah, I think that's,
I get it, you're poor.
Yeah. Having a good, Christian partner is so important, because Sam actually plays that role for me. He's just like, Amy, like, you're stressing yourself out. Yeah. You have to be happy with what we have right now, and we're working towards, obviously a better future, and to, eventually support children down the line and things like that. But right now there's nothing we can do. And, he is really good at keeping me in check.
And providing that sobering, like, reality of, like, this is what it is.
Yeah. And to, kind of break me out of that, moment of, like, greed, where, like, okay, like, we have to have the bigger house. We have to have the better car.
Right.
Like, that's just pure greed.
Yeah.
And that's not to, like, give glory to God. It's to give glory to myself and to seem better than other people. And yeah, I feel like me, coming from a more, I guess, upper middle class neighborhood, it's more ingrained in me than I thought. And I think that kind of, it comes up in a nasty way. Where I am not proud of it. And, Sam's really good at kind of keeping me in check, of course, in the kindest way possible. He's never, like, belittling me or, scolding me or, like, things like that. But
like
he's
shaming you for
it. Or shaming me. But he's more like, hey, like, we're doing okay. We're working towards something. Like, you need to calm down.
Yeah. I mean, the flip side is if I grew up more middle low, and some of my friends that even lower, then they have this relentless pursuit. Like, I don't want to have my family live like that. I don't want my future kids to live like that. So then you find this excuse to be extra greedy. So yeah, I think it's hard, it's tough, but I think that just calls more reason to, well, one, having partners and friends that can keep you accountable.
Yeah.
And of course, at an individual level, are we seeking the wisdom of the Lord to see clearly, to act clearly, to think clearly, to feel clearly, and kind of live, day by day with a kind of clear mind.
Yeah.
Because things will come. And I think our testimonies before that, is that not just maybe an act of faithfulness from God? Yeah. Though we are unfaithful, though we kind of are the ones, we're the one forgetting. We're the ones not remembering God's grace yet. That is still is what provided to us to this day. Yeah. And will be provided till the day we go and meet God in heaven. So I think, yeah, greed, it's such a sneaky and blinding thing. But yeah, I think we have a lot of weapons, a lot of answers to battle that. We just got to seek the right thing. Yeah. Or we get consumed. And greed is such a consuming thing. So, yeah, I think it's tough.
Yeah. You know, I think it's great, we're talking about this because, our next episode, I'm hoping that it'll be about finance and we'll, go deeper into what that looks like as a Christian.
Well, in case it's not finances, what was our other idea?
Oh my God, I don't have that.
It was spouses and fiance.
Oh yeah,
That'd be a
we
cool
wanted
one.
to bring in our partners,
I
and
need
it'd
to
be
schedule
a full
my
house.
fiance.
I don't even know what we would talk about, but I think
We
it's
can
cool.
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I think it's cool.
Maybe it'll
'cause
just be us asking you guys, since you guys are married, and then we're like, how do you do wedding stuff? What's marriage
We
like?
can talk about
You'll figure it out.
assortment
Well,
of
I'm
things.
sure we can find a bunch of stuff to talk
Yeah.
about.
Oh my God, Benita would be so good behind the camera with
I
her
don't know.
bubbly
I
personality.
think Jamie would go all out too.
I think Jamie would have a
I
blast.
think they're gonna kick us off the podcast and they're just gonna take it over.
Let's just have Sam, Benita, and Jamie take
Yeah,
over.
we just step
That'd be
We'll just
aside.
be on the
Easily
couch in the
hour and a
back.
half.
It's like, hello.
Hey, this is nice. You guys
They'll
talk.
call us up for like, oh, all right, your turn to think about something, taste off
yeah.
or something.
Do you think it's cool though? It's different stages of marriage. Well, kind of you know what I mean. But you're getting ready to get married. You're in the process. I think Pastor Peter calls it DINK.
Dink.
Double income, no kids.
Oh,
And then,
And then
they have kids.
the stage with kids for millennials. I think it's
Double child.
different stages of married life for millennials.
Yeah,
So.
because
no, I think it's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just engaged, so I'm not married yet. You've been married,
yeah, but no kids.
and then married
With kids.
with kids, and number 2 on the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that'd be really awesome that's gonna be a long episode.
That might be a 2-hour special or something.
It's either that or finances. So those are our two ideas.
That also might be a long one too.
So, but we won't say who, but we may or may not have a special guest for our finance episode as well. So that'd be really awesome to kind of have. Yeah, I just want to end this by saying I think for QPEM at least, we have a really special community where we have so many faithful individuals we can look up to and, be mentored by, that are in different, I guess, tax brackets, but as well as
Fields.
fields, different phases of life, and, not everyone's lives as easily, as seemingly easy as they may seem. Everyone goes through struggles and strifes, and we have that community where we can look up to our elders or older members where they can kind of guide us and give us advice and kind of keep us in check as well,
And even be maybe a good influence to those still aspiring and still
exactly
in the early parts of, let's say, post-grad and figuring that out. So
And I'm so grateful to have this community, whereas I feel in different churches or EMs even, there has been this line of I guess oh, I'm scared to approach an older member, or I'm intimidated. But I feel QPEM, I don't feel that at all. I don't know if it's an individual thing I feel, but some people may be uncomfortable, but at least for me, for me to speak to Deacon Jenny or Deacon Margaret, who's my mom's age, I have no, I guess I'm so comfortable speaking to them about anything and everything. And
I mean, even that, culturally, especially in a Korean church, it's odd. You were just sitting with all our QPEM elders.
I was
all 4 of them at our church.
Yeah.
And the typical Korean American second-gen church-going response would be is Amy in trouble?
Yeah,
What's getting
I was
scolded
surrounded by
the
all 4
elders?
elders.
When you
Let's
said
talk
that
about the
story,
podcast,
you
dude.
approached it with confidence too, the way you said it.
Should I tell that story? So I walked downstairs to our cafe right before service. I had some time to kill. And it's a pretty small space. And when someone walks in, you can kind of see everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I locked eyes with Elder Sai. And, of course I was going to say hi regardless. But, it was kind of one of those eye contacts where I had to go up to him. So I went up to him and they were all sitting. I was just like, hey guys, am I interrupting anything? Are you guys in a meeting? And I said that just so that I, would have something to say. And then... it wouldn't be awkward. But then they were so welcoming. They were just oh, no, we're just waiting before service starts. Pull up a chair. We have an empty chair right here. And I sat and I was, Elder Jay was actually asking me about this podcast, which, even then, like, I was just so grateful that like he remembered,
Yeah.
and that
I'm surprised
He cares.
he cares.
he watched at least one, maybe.
Yeah, and he cares.
Thankful.
And Elder Sai, he's been a fan since episode 1, and he's been so
great
awesome about
cheerleader.
it. Yeah, he's been so awesome.
Biggest cheerleader.
And even Elder Dave was just like, like, that's really interesting. And Zach, who's just starting his first year at
Freshman
NYU, he's a freshman at NYU. He was just quietly listening the entire time. And it was time to go to service, so we were all walking up the stairs, and I didn't know he was there. He comes up very quietly behind me. He's just like, "So where can I find this podcast?"
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's like,
YouTube, Spotify,
where is
Apple.
it? And so I was just like Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio.
Amazon.
Amazon.
You pick it.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, okay, thanks. And he's just like, what's it called again?
Wait, that's so cute though.
And then I was like,
Oh,
it's
wow.
closed on Sundays. And, even something like that was so encouraging for me. And for him
That's kinda cool.
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
so awesome. I honestly think towards the end of it, I was like, oh yeah, so episode 3 was about our most recent episode was about alcohol and drinking. And, we talk about everything. We talk about underage drinking. We talk, I think, because we were talking about like the age demographic of our podcast. And I was like, it depends on the topic, honestly. But for this most recent one, I was just like, oh yeah, we keep it spicy on there. I kind of made it a little entertaining. I think Zach was like, I want to.
I'm a college kid.
I'm a college kid. I
want to learn.
I want to learn. I want to hear about, these older guys' experiences.
Okay.
But I think it was just so awesome to kind of have someone who, who's 18 to, I don't know
show
who's the
interest.
oldest, but
Cool.
yeah, the
That's cool.
elders. And it was just, like every like little moment like that is just, it was so awesome.
I don't want to preface by like any new listeners. That'd be cool if we have new listeners. That's awesome. But any new listeners, I think we kind of missed in the beginning, which is okay. We had a lot to catch up on. But if you're listening to this for the first time, this is a podcast just to have these conversations. We like this topic of faith in the workplace. We don't necessarily have like the answers to everything.
Yeah, we don't.
I think it's like we agree that this is just a way for people to get comfortable talking about these things, outside of church, hence why it's called Closed on Sundays. We should talk about these things, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Saturday. And we hope that, if you guys are listening to this, talk about these things with your friends. We don't have the answers to everything. There's different situations, our different life stages. And I hope that we influence you guys to just, know that we are broken people too.
Right.
We don't have the answers. We try our best. And, at the end of the day, we have our faith in Jesus. And that's all we really need. It's more than enough.
Yeah, I'm not the smartest or wisest or mature pastor, but
Yeah.
I hope to provide you some jerk.
I mean, isn't that why I brought you on, Pastor
all
Austin?
right. So I have been brought on because I'm less qualified, which is fine for me. I guess
He was the cheapest.
I made the cut. What cheapest? I'm
kidding.
free.
I'm just kidding.
I'm free.
Everyone asks for
It
pay.
is. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just hope to provide even just a little bit of direction. I'm not providing any prescriptions. I want to, at least in hopes to provide at least one person to provide some biblical clarity of like, hey, how do we do this as Christians? Because we're definitely struggling together. I'm struggling as I'm a growing and maturing young adult myself. But to myself, I think it's a lot of things I say. I speak to myself first. Remember the word. Remember scripture. Remember Christ, that he lives in you now. And we hope that whatever topic we're discussing in the past and in the future, that, like our goal here is to, of course, discuss and talk, but it's also to lead one another first, to remember Christ. And we hope you are too. And I think I'll be so encouraged, at least one even like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I should do, or I should try that.
Right.
And that's, if Zach listens to the alcohol episode, and then hopefully, he realizes he should just drink when he's legal, then thumbs up for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't go the other way.
Yeah.
Right? We
I think
trust
as
Zach,
Christians, like having these messy conversations are so refreshing and so important.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you know, no one is perfect. And sometimes I, personally at least, I do feel, I guess, shame for not being a perfect Christian. And I think having these conversations kind of brings reassurance, and you know, I hope it makes us a little more relatable.
Yeah. I mean, we're together. We're one people before God, and we have one God that we worship. And I think that's, as we work, as in the case of like today's episode topic, like even though we have people who are going through the same set of problems, they might have a different color, but we can rely on one another and seek each other out, and then of course seek our Lord together as one people too. So yeah, I think it's been, even for me personally, it's always been an encouragement to talk together, and I think I could say the same for both of you guys. This is where Levy says no.
I love how Levy makes time for us in his
said,
busy schedule.
Yeah.
He squeezes us in.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up for this week's episode, or this month's episode.
This month's episode.
When was our last episode?
I think
It was in June.
June? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
We missed a whole season.
Oh,
season.
goodness. I thought it was like July. It was 2 months. Whatever.
That's okay.
That's my fault.
You're already paler than the last time we saw you on camera.
Oh,
Now you have no excuses.
now I don't. I really don't. But anyways, that wraps it up for this month's episode. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.